Hello and good evening, and welcome to Author Aspirations for the 2021 Black History Month. And I will be featuring some Black authors. I am so excited about today. I've got Dele Olafuyi here with me, and he is going to tell us all about himself. You can see from his background what he's all about. You can see from his t-shirt what he's all about. And you can see from his smile that he's excited to be here. So Dele, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot, Sade. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. My name is Dele, co-founder and CEO of Kunda Kids. And at Kunda Kids, we're all about kids, all about children's content, and we're all about Africa. So we tell African stories, and we do this through books, through songs, through animations, and games, and through games. So that's Kunda Kids in a nutshell.
And Dele, we had this conversation during the week, and I was so thrilled about all the different things you told me about and your plans. So not only do you have things going on, but you've got some huge plans for the future. But tell me about what happened last year, 2020, when the pandemic struck. What did you get up to?
Absolutely interesting. So when the pandemic started, I have a 12-year-old boy. His name is Ire. And when the pandemic started last year, we had just got back from Uganda, and there was lockdown like 2-3 weeks after. My wife is from Uganda, I'm from Nigeria. At that time, we decided, let's start putting together content to at least make sure Area understands is African, it comes from greatness. And so we started looking for books, and things. And that was when we really got to understand that there's a serious lack of diversity in children's books. And even worse still, when you talk about African children's books, it's even a bigger problem, considering storytelling is embedded in our culture as Africans, in who we are. It's all like storytelling is in our DNA, but African children's books is not a thing. So Louisa and I sat down and we were like, let's do something about this. So we started researching into the industry to understand what's going on, and we really got to there are a lot of obstacles in the industry, right? The big publishers, if you don't have a big name, if you're not a celebrity or something, good luck trying to get a book deal from them. I'm not saying it's impossible, but just I wish you luck in your attempt to get a deal from them. And then self-publishing is also a very difficult journey for many authors. Most self-published authors will probably sell like 250 copies of their book, in their lifetime. And when you think about that, it's, people say self-publishing is a pathway to poverty for authors, because you really won't sell enough copies because you can break into the distribution system. And then also producing good books is expensive. It's also really difficult. So we understood all these obstacles, and we said we're going to build Kunda Kids, not just as a company or a platform to publish our own books, but we built Kunda Kids as a platform where authors can come to and actually get books done, and then we would help them market, and they can actually also make money too from their books, because our passion is to solve this problem of lack of diversity in children's books, to get more stories out there, more stories with Black lead characters, more African stories. And we decided to write our own books first and release them. So last year, December, we released 4 amazing children's books. Yeah, we released 4 at the same time.
Did you say 4? Did you say 4?
Yeah, we released 4 books at the same time.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. How did you manage that? I mean, when did you start writing the stories? And, at what point did you think, right, we're going to release 4 books this year? I mean, that is very unusual. I mean, it's not a story you can keep from us. Sorry.
So when the old, when lockdown started, we decided, we're going to start writing books. We still thought of it as maybe it's going to be like a future project, or we do like this old project plan and all of that. But the catalyst was when George Floyd was killed last year.
Okay.
And there were a lot of
Okay.
protests, all over London, all over the world, in the US. And at that point, we sat down and we said now is the time. Because I like to say we've seen a lot. We've grown up in a world where there's been a lot of injustice, a lot of unfairness.
Very true.
Grown up in a world where we didn't experience diversity in the stories we read growing up. However, we want our kids to grow up in a better world. So our own contribution is, let's start from the next generation. Let's start inspiring them with great stories, because books is the pathway to opening up kids' imaginations. If I digress a little bit, I'll tell you my own story.
I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, so I didn't grow up reading books. In fact, I grew up playing games, playing football. I'll get back from school, play football till dinner time, and sometimes you try to play more football after dinner if you can sneak out of the house.
Okay, so you weren't a big reader?
No, I wasn't. Even when I was in secondary school, I would only read for exams the day before, and that was just me. That was how I grew up. But it was until my late teenage years that I picked up a book. I'd read 1 or 2 books here and there, but not like I was a reader.
Okay.
It was my late teenage years that I started reading novels, and it opened my mind. Like, I got to see the whole world in a totally different way. And since then, I've always been reading books, and I was like, how come nobody ever bought a book for me growing up? I'm the kid that they'll buy all the toys for. They'll buy,
but not books.
I don't have any memory of someone giving me a book.
That is interesting. That is interesting. And it's not as if you didn't live within a literate family. So my question is, what do you remember the book that kind of turned things around for you? Was it written by an African, or was it just, was it something that was picked up from the shelves and you just tended to enjoy the structure, the story, the plot, and you fell for it? What was it? What brought that turn around about?
Yeah, so I remember that period. That was a period where, that was a period when I started reading Sidney Sheldon books, Jeffrey Archer, and John Grisham. That was a period when I stared reading. So I think it was a particular John Grisham book that I read at that time, and I was like, this is so well written. I'm from a family of lawyers. Everybody's a lawyer.
Okay.
My
dad's a lawyer. He's the only one that's a lawyer.
Yeah. So everybody in my house loved to read, my sisters, except me. And I think they just accepted me for what I was like. Dele likes to play, and that's it. And, so it was at that period I started reading novels, and it was just picking one of the books my little sister was reading, and I was like, oh, I actually like this. And then I picked another book, and that was how I became a reader. This year alone, I've not read a lot. What did you say?
That's when you became hooked on books.
Oh yeah, that was when I got hooked on books. Yeah, this year I've not read a lot, but I've bought over 20 books, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going one at a time. I still bought a book today, because that's all I do right now. Apart from my run children's publishing company, but I do like to read because it does open your mind. So back to Kunda Kids.
Yes.
So we decided to write our stories, and we said, you know what, we're going to get the stories out this year. And initially we said, can we pull off 6 books? But we realized it was going to be difficult.
Ambitious.
Yeah. So we did 4 stories in 6
Okay.
months.
Okay.
4 books from the writing to
Okay. Wow. From the writing to the illustrating to the designing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Who's the writer? Because, I know Louisa's not here at the moment, but who is, I don't know if she's coming in at any point. It'd be lovely to meet her. But who is, do you write the same type of stories? I mean, how do you balance out this authorship between the both of you?
Yeah, so Louisa and I co-authored the 4 stories.
Okay.
I'll be honest, Louisa is the more creative one.
Okay. You were struggling to say that there. You were struggling.
Because this is live, this is in front of you. But the thing is, I'm really good at putting together a plot. Like, I'm really good at
the structure. Plot. So you're the structure person.
Yeah. So most times I kind of write it out like, okay, let's write this story this way. Yeah. Let's try to teach this lesson with this book. And we come together, Louisa writes it and, tries to make it, really, really good. And we work with a very amazing children's book author, really, really talented young lady based in London. Yeah, she's from Ghana.
Okay. Okay.
We're really, really talented. I was like, I think we're kind of blessed to find her. Because she coming on that project really transformed a lot of what we're doing.
Amazing. So was she the editor?
Yeah, she was our editor.
Okay, fantastic.
Editor and coach.
Actually, do you know what? I'm happy you said that, because I'm a very big advocate that authors shouldn't work alone. It's always good to have someone to hold your hand. And if you've watched my prior videos, you'd know that, I benefit from someone holding my hand as well. I don't think anyone can, it's not an easy journey. So the fact that you've got yourself, you've got Louisa, you've got an editor, and that on its own is a blessing when everything works well together. So congratulations on your 4 books. Well done. Congratulations. I know I know you're a man of statistics. So I can't avoid not asking you questions about the statistics with regards to children's books and how. So let me ask that question before I go into the next one, because I think it's very important. A lot of people don't understand why we talk about representation in children's books. And even our families, Black families, African families, tend to want to buy lots of foreign books for their children and probably shun the books written from their heritage. And so, tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so it's a real problem, and I'll tell you some of the reasons that I've come to understand. One, some people feel, oh yeah, if it's made by Africans, it's gonna be low quality. People have looked at our books and be like, wow, you guys have produced something good, for
Can you show us your books, please?
Yeah, and I'll show you. I'll show you. And sometimes I feel unhappy about it. I feel unhappy about it because I'll show you the books in a minute.
Okay.
Because it's like we've come to expect that if it's produced by Africans, it's not going to be of a good standard. So what we've done is with our books, we've said we're going to match the quality from the big publishers as much as possible.
Good.
Like you're going to match the quality, match their pricing. And that's what we've done. It's really difficult for self-published authors to match terms of pricing, especially when they put out a very good book. It's really difficult. And that's the second problem, because people in our community are like, well, you sell your book for £10, or you sell your book for £12. It's too expensive. Our most expensive book is £7.99. That's the ceiling.
That is
price.
good.
Uh,
That's
and
good.
when you do buy the whole book, you get some of the books as cheap as £5, £5.50 when you buy
Good.
like the whole
Well
package.
done.
And it's intentional because we don't want people to say your books are too expensive. That's why we can't afford it. Our books are priced, very competitive versus the big publishers, which itself is a feat to achieve, considering the small. But a lot of people in our community find it difficult to pay that kind of amount for
Yes.
books.
Yes.
And they're like, I'm just gonna buy the £5
Mm.
book. And that itself is another problem.
Mm.
And another problem is the value that we place on books.
Okay.
Like I give an example. When I grew up, everybody's like, yeah, Dele is a boy, just buy me a football and I'm okay. Or buy me a water gun or something,
Mm.
and I'm like, you're my best friend. That was how that was me growing up. But I feel I was really robbed of building like a reading culture as a child.
Mm.
Um, Considering my sister grew up reading a lot of books, and I would actually pick some of her books and read, and I'll be like, "Oh, nice!" I used to read my sister that was 5 years younger than me, some of her
Okay.
books, like
Okay. Mm.
all of that. But it wasn't my own personal experience growing up; it was
Mm.
our own experience. She always had books, and she's such a fabulous reader today. She's doing her PhD at the moment, so you can tell. And but that's another problem, and that's also partly because in a way, we do have sort of a reading problem in majority of our community.
Okay.
And also, one of the things that we try to address is to encourage parents, uncles, and aunties, especially when you're buying gifts for kids, don't just always think of toys, buy books.
Okay.
It doesn't
Very
come
true.
to a lot of people, as, oh, I want to buy this child a gift, let me buy a book. It doesn't come naturally. You think of a toy first. Kids need toys, there's room for toys, but are not all what kids need.
So why do you think that is the case, though? Why would do you think, especially because we mostly education is being funded by the government, do you think that has an effect on parents' responsibility with regards to purchasing fiction books, non-fiction books, for their children? Do you think there's that, that probably that's the responsibility of the school, and as long as they bring a book back home from school and they've got a reading book, then that does it? Do you think that's our mentality?
It's a very complex problem because it's something that I've delved into, and that itself is a whole interview on its own. But the complexity of that problem stems from
it's complex.
I'm trying to summarize it because I've done a deep dive into this, but it stems from the failure of our education system.
Okay.
So the way we were educated, we're not trained. Our education system doesn't train us to think.
Okay.
Trains us to, and I'm speaking of like, growing up in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria.
Okay.
It didn't train us to think. It just trains you to pass your exam and move to the next level, move to the next level. And when, our parents have been through that system, we've also been through that system. You really don't think deep in terms of, okay, what are the things I need to help this child grow structurally to develop and, become this person? That was why I said it's a very complex problem, so there's the angle that you
with layers.
With so many layers that we really can't.
So we're not. We can't solve that problem today. But having said that, you're on a journey, and this is part of the. This is a resolution, isn't it? Having the more publishers we see, the more people that we see in the forefront standing up for Black books, standing up for cultural books, standing up for heritage books, the more parents will become confident about purchasing their books. And I like what you said about making them affordable, because I do understand that aspect as well. Self-publishing in itself is an expensive route. And
Oh
by
yeah.
the time you've invested thousands of pounds, going on up to £5,000 in a book, by the time you start selling the copies, you actually do want to start making a tiny bit of that money back over and over again. So it's understandable that our books would be slightly on the higher side. I think most books that come off the shelves from the big publishers go for £5.99, probably max £6.99. Maybe a chapter book might go into £7.99, £8.99. And so this issue of cost and pricing is something that, if you're able to bridge that gap, I think that is amazing. I mean, I don't know what magic wand you've got, but honestly, if you're able to do that, I think we're on the way to overcoming this barrier. I think also another thing that parents don't know, which I'll just put in at them, straight away, is you can go into a library and say, can you stock this book for my child? Can you stock this book for my child? And that way, you're not buying the book, you gain access to the book, and you can borrow it over and over again. That's the positive thing about this system here, that, you don't have to put pressure on people to buy. They can even purchase the books from the library. And the more books that are being read from the library, the better for you, the publishers as well, because, there's also that benefit for the publishers. So why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the advantages. And a lot of this, we're going to see how we can also learn and take it back home to our African countries. Because Kunda Kids, we're an African brand,
Mm.
we don't, I know when you say African, it's not very commercial, I know.
We have to
But
make it commercial.
exactly, exactly. When African brand, and it's important that we tell our stories and we get
Yes.
our stories everywhere. We get our kids growing up in Africa, wherever they are all over the world, to embrace our stories and help expand their imagination.
Mm.
But yeah, that's that. So there are a lot of problems when it comes to uh, these things, but that's what we're doing at Kunda Kids, trying to solve as many as many of these problems as possible. Those that know me well know me that I'm always telling them, we want to solve this problem, we want to solve
Mm.
that problem.
Mm.
Because every single thing we do at Kunda Kids is about solving a particular
Mm.
problem,
I like that.
which
I like.
which I can elaborate a little about maybe a little later.
Okay. Okay. Yes, you will have the opportunity to. I like the fact that it's not just about books for you. It's about songs. It's about animation, and it's about apps as well.
Yes, so I'll tell you. So I guess now it's time to elaborate everything we do and why. Um, so for the books, why the books are so important? You mentioned statistics the other time, right? We
Yes.
live in London, in the UK, Louisa and I, and our little boy, and then, but only 2% of recently published children's books in the UK has a lead black character. Only 2%. Now, an animal is 6 to 8 times more likely to be the protagonist in a children's book than any diverse character at all.
True.
And that's because, when the publishing industry decided to start having a go at diversity, it was so difficult for them to say, well, let's have characters who lead books who lead black characters. And, animals was how they bring diversity
Mm.
and all into their book, which is ridiculous, right? Um, the big publishers won't solve this problem
Mm.
because they have reasons. They do benefit from this
Yeah.
problem existing, and they have reasons to to run, they know why, and we have an idea why. But they have their reasons. But it's important for we to come out and step up to uh solve this problem. And we need to get out a lot of books. So which is what we're doing at Kunda Kids.
Yeah.
We're opening our doors at Kunda Kids to other authors that have really good stories but are struggling to get deals. We would help them get their books done, and we would also make sure they make good money from publishing their book with us. So that's one aspect. Now we're also making music. We're currently working on our first album. I think this is the first time I will announce it. Like
do you want to keep it till Saturday then? Because I know you've got.
No, it's okay. But this is we're going to announce this
bring
on
it out,
Saturday.
bring it out.
But we're going
Drum
to announce this on
roll.
Saturday.
Drum roll.
And this will not air before Saturday, so it's fine.
Oh, you're not sure? You're not sure?
Well, it's okay. Either ways, we're announcing
we get privilege.
Yeah, and that those are the perks of chatting with us first. And announce on Saturday we're going to be talking about this album that we're working on, and I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Wow.
It's an album of nursery rhymes. And the reason why we decided our first Kunda Kids album should be an album of nursery rhymes is because there's a big problem in nursery rhymes. There are a lot of nursery rhymes out there that are not appropriate for our kids. There are a lot of nursery rhymes that were composed, there are original lyrics embedded in racism and all of that. And when you think about all of this, it's unfair for our kids to be listening to music that the original roots, I'm not going to sing the original song, but songs like Mini, Mini, Manimo, and all of that, those songs are terrible. And you really don't want our kids listening to that. Another one that I really don't like is Baba Black Sheep. And the reason why is we've done all the research, and everything we've done is, there's nothing wrong in the history of the song itself based on what we've learned so far. But the problem is that song has been used by racists to abuse Black people over, like our parents' generations, especially those that grew up in the UK. They didn't have a great experience singing that song in class, right? Because they were used to, it was used to tease them. And my own view is when a song is used as a tool by certain people, then we should discontinue it. Because those people are still alive. Their kids will go home after learning it in school and go and sing it to them in their face. So there are like a lot of issues with nursery rhymes. And when you look at we Africans, we have so many beautiful songs, beautiful African nursery rhymes. And so we're just going to try to put together a few of these, and let's start pushing out.
Looking forward to this. Kunda Kids. So you're not just about books. You've got a mission. And I think it's just powerful what you're doing. And I'm trying to imagine the impact that this is going to have over generations, because you're using all manner of media and to pool these resources together. Because when everything's together on one platform, then it becomes easily accessible for schools, for libraries, for parents, and for the entire community. When you talked about publishers, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take you back. Sometimes it has been said that because of the economic factor, it's less economical and less commercial to publish or to take on a Black author, because a lot of Black people do not buy books. So, and there are a few other excuses like that. You know, I think one of the things that I advocated for was, so if that's a problem, if it's a commercial problem indeed, or if it's an economical problem indeed, because there's a pot of money that is meant to be for equal opportunities within the educational sector, then there really is no excuse why money funds should not be allocated for books. And guess what? Even the Arts Commission, the Arts Council, they don't deal with publishing. You know, you can't go to them and say, I want to publish a book for Black children. It's not one of the things that they will consider under as one of the credentials. You know, so there are layers there, and having an outfit like yours at Kunda Kids that's got this vast platform that's going to, you know, obviously there's so, you know, you're going to need a lot of human resource, a lot of skills, and
Oh yeah.
but I think you're onto something huge here. I mean, and I am congratulating you already. So tell us about next Saturday. What's happening? What's happening next Saturday?
Yes. So I said I was going to show you our book. So the 4 books that we've
Please.
written so far,
Woohoo.
um, it's part of a series called Africa's Little Kings and Queens. Now, these books, we took inspiration from African history, characters that shaped African history. And the reason why we did that is we felt our first project at Kunda Kids was important for us to touch on history, to let people know that there's a lot of greatness that has come out of Africa. And I'll show you some of the books and tell you about them quickly. So it's a series called Africa's Little Kings and Queens, inspired by kings and queens from Asian Africa. And the first is Shakazu Learns to Dance. A lot of people know Shakazu, the great Zulu king. Um, you know, Shaka Zulu was brave and all. But one of the things I really wanted to do with this book is our books are fictional, you know, our genre is historical fiction. So, but we do try to teach kids a lot of lessons. Because our main goal is just to introduce kids to these characters and let them start learning bits from African history very early.
Okay.
So this book, Shaka Zulu Learns to Dance, it was the most difficult to write because Shaka Zulu has been described as a very complex character.
Okay.
And as much as it's fictional, we still want the books to carry some very decent elements, you know, that represent the culture and the people. And we know we human beings, we have different sides to us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, every time you see Shaka Zulu, he's always frowning, just always, you know, this
Okay.
really hard-faced person.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to write a book about this great king, but he just had a problem. He couldn't dance. And the story is just about him going through a journey to discover his confidence. And it wasn't like he couldn't dance. He could actually dance, but because he was dancing without confidence, it made his dance moves look so funny. And the
Something.
lesson in this story is it's a beautiful book for parents to use to engage their kids, to teach their kids confidence. You might not be first in class, does not mean you're not going to be great. You know, when you're in class, don't be scared to raise your hand to ask a question,
Mm.
because confidence is a key skill kids need growing up, especially Black kids growing up here. So that was why we wrote Shaka Zulu Learns to Dance that way. There's Mansa Musa
Okay.
built a school. Mansa Musa
Ah,
is the richest man in history. He's
yes.
African from ancient Mali. A lot of people don't know that. And we felt
Mm.
it's important kids learn the name Mansa Musa from a very young age. So they know, you know, you really don't need to look up to Jeff Bezos. You can look up to Mansa Musa because, you know, he was
He was
twice.
rich, wasn't he? He was rich.
Yeah, his net worth is estimated to be worth about $400 billion in today's money.
Wow.
And Jeff Bezos is around 200. So Mansa Musa is still double of him. Um, and this is a book that teaches kids about generosity and
Okay.
you know, typically, you know, Mansa Musa, Quenya saves the golden stool, you know, the big adventure in the book. You know, invaders were coming to steal the golden stool, and yeah, Asantua decided to save the old kingdom. I just wanted to show you like some of the illustrations. You see her charging in on an
Let's see if
elephant,
I
you
can
know, chasing
spotlight that. Let me see if I can.
yeah, chasing the invaders away.
Oh, I
Uh,
love the
yeah,
illustrations.
fantastic book. And Queen Kitami makes friends. I love this book. Because it's a story about this is a story about responsibility,
Okay.
and Queen Kitami makes friends is a story about kindness and friendship. With this, we really try to bring in the animals, you know, play with the animals, came to party. Um, it's a story about, you know, this queen that, you know, she had so much fun with her animal friends, but animals told her, you actually need to go and make friends with real people. And this story is so deep on so many levels because for kids, you need to make friends with different types of people. You actually need to make friends. You might change, move cities, move to a new city. So it's like we've written our books to create talking points for parents to interact with their kids and teach them, you know, real life soft skills. And we've been getting a lot of feedback. Some kids are like, you know, I want to be like Mansa Musa. You know, some kids are
Wow.
beginning to lay their bed because their parents are like, go and lay their bed. You know, Queen Ya would always look after a golden stool every day, you know, and you also need to be responsible. And kids, you know, like kids are doing really interesting things because they're learning soft skills from our books. So you asked me about next Saturday, you know, that's the exciting one because we're going to be officially launching these two new books.
Woohoo! I
Queen
know that.
Moremi
Queen Moremi.
and
Ah, that is
you know,
very Nigerian.
yeah, and King Albrecht cooks the best jollof.
Oh, you know what? You've put Moremi, Queen Moremi, and jollof rice together.
I
That's a
know,
that's a
I know.
catch. That is a
And
catch.
yeah, it's fantastic because these are two beautiful stories. Like I love
Oh,
this book. The stories are really, really, really amazing. And because at Kunda Kids, we might not do a lot of things. You know, there are some things we're still trying to get right and
mm-hmm.
perfect. Well, the quality of our stories is one we don't compromise. You know, we don't
Good,
compromise. The
good,
story must be perfect.
good.
You can get away with illustrations that aren't so great,
Mm-hmm.
um, but a story must be perfect, and we take time. Like you wouldn't believe, you know, the books that we were about to start illustrating, and you know, we said no, we can't do this, and let's pick it up in 6 months' time. Maybe we get better ideas for this story. Um, and there are a lot of stories like that. It's the story must be perfect because it's about the quality of the story. We don't want people in our community to say, "Oh, Kunda Kids, their stories are not great." Yeah, just like you know, they'll say just like black people. No, it's not all black people. You know, the most of the black people I know are really hardworking people that really want to make a difference. It's just when we have few examples that people are like, you know, they just generalize. So we've really put in a lot of work. And next week, Saturday, Africa Center, we're getting this launching the books. It's going to be a fun event for parents and kids. And anyone that orders the two books gets this coloring book for free. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, so it's a
interesting.
coloring book that it's a book that has illustration from all of our books.
Oh, from all of the books, from all six
Yeah,
books.
from all six books.
Oh,
So they're
so you
different.
know that's very clever because guess what's
Yeah,
going to happen? They're going to get all books.
that's the plan. And when you get all six books, you pretty much are getting them at a price of like £5 per book or like five
Wow.
pounds
Oh,
20 per book.
wow. Wow. I think that
Thereabouts.
is a deal.
It's
That
yeah.
is, I mean, look at that. That's a deal. So you get the coloring book for free, and then you get the books at the rate of £5. So for £20, you get five physical books.
Yeah, well, there's six
Sorry,
books. So I think
six.
the
Sorry,
six of them
six,
are selling for
six,
31.99.
30, £30.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I think it's 31.99 or so.
Okay.
So that's kind of like
That's
£5,
fantastic. Sorry, I didn't do my math properly there.
30, like £5.30 per book thereabout,
Yeah,
which is
amazing, amazing,
yeah,
amazing, amazing. I think you need to put a lot of word out there. I mean, I'll definitely put it here as well, but
oh
you
yeah,
do
oh
need
yeah,
to let the word go out and,
oh yeah,
get
yeah, we
people,
will.
get communities, even those that don't live within the London region. Is it going to be, are you going to have it online as well? Is it going to be a combination of both or purely physical?
Yeah, it's gonna be online, but not yet.
Okay.
Uh, but it's gonna
Okay.
be online
The
probably
live
by the
event would be
yeah.
a physical event. So you want
Oh
people
yeah,
to come
yeah.
out there.
Oh yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. The live, yeah. But the books are available on our website and on Amazon, so you can go to www.kundakids.com to
Okay.
get yours, and we do ship worldwide.
And so with the deal, can that be purchased through your website or through Amazon? Because if you're doing
Uh
a discount, that probably wouldn't come through Amazon, would it?
no, yeah. Try our website. Try our website. We do offer discounts on Amazon every now and then.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's try our website to get the deal.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because Amazon takes a
Yes.
huge uh yeah, you know how it is with Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, do you know what? It's been amazing speaking with you, speaking with you. For people who would like to get in touch with your outfit as, because your authors and your publishers, for people who would like to get in touch with your outfit in terms of considering them as, as writers, what words do you have for them? Do they have, is there what word do you have? What advice would you give them before they contact you?
Yeah, I'll say, by all means, please reach out. Email is hello@kundakids.com. If you have a great story, like, as long as you're telling African stories, like, we're ready. We're ready. Worst case, we'll give you some advice on how to do it if we can reach an agreement. But it's not, we're not jealous about anything. All our ideas, we put it out there, and it's intentional. Anyone that wants to copy us, we'll show you the templates. Um, it's because we want to solve a problem, and we
Yes,
know we can't solve this problem
in your
ourselves.
own.
There's a lot of room in the market, because the biggest problem we're trying to solve, which you mentioned in the course of this interview, that the big publishers are like, you know, black people don't buy books,
It
and
is a
and that's
problem.
the
It is a
that's the
problem.
biggest problem that we're trying to solve. So we were going to run a campaign in Nigeria, and we're still going to run that campaign. And but to run that campaign, I wanted to collaborate with other authors, but the few people I reached out to a couple of people, but they were not ready to to run a campaign together. Which
Okay,
collaboration is another issue that we have. So I dropped
true.
it. But the campaign was going to be like, wanted to ring a message out there, to let parents and everyone understand that, when you're buying gifts for kids, buy a book.
Buy a
You
book.
know, we want to we'll put out messages to tell parents, have you bought a book for your child this month? Make sure you buy a
Very
book for your
true.
child.
Buy a book.
Um,
Very,
messages like that, you
yes,
readers of today are leaders of tomorrow. It's all about
certainly.
toys. Books
Certainly.
are important. So we want to put out a campaign to push that message, because we know it's a very powerful message that is very much needed in our community. And we're also going to do the same within our community in the UK. We're going to start doing
Mhm.
some community engagement to let people know. You might, I don't think £7 monthly to buy a book for your child is too much. Just
No,
budget that amount every month. Like, okay, I'm going to buy one book every month. £6, seven. And before you know it, we're going to be a big community of readers. So yeah, so for those that want to get in touch with us, we keep on looking for new authors. Please reach out to us, hello at Kunda Kids, and we'll be sure to get back to you. And yeah, waiting. We're expecting to get your emails.
And I'll be reaching out to you as well. It's been awesome speaking with you. Just before you go, this was one of the books I was hoping that you had come across for your 2-year-old, but hey, it's still out in the world. Have a
Yes,
look at it.
I've actually ordered mine.
Ooh,
It's on
fantastic.
its way. Yeah, I've
Amazing.
actually ordered mine. It's on its way.
Amazing, amazing. And this is just what we're talking about the price. It's wanting to bring the price down, just so that it's affordable for everyone. I mean, obviously that's a publisher that's not self-published. So, but when it's a self-published project, it's just that tiny bit more expensive. So if our parents are understanding that, it can't be compared to the big publishers, I think that Kunda Kids is ready to, to set the motion, ready to tell the world that they're there, they're here to create content, to create music, to create books, to create animation, to create apps. Congratulations, congratulations. It's been amazing having you. I look forward to Saturday and everything that comes with it. It's been awesome speaking with you. We didn't get to meet Louisa.
Yes, yeah, she couldn't join, unfortunately.
But we're thinking
it's life when you have a 2-year-old.
Oh yes.
When you have a 2-year-old, it's
I should know that. I should know that. I should know that. So I am definitely, I've got a number of people that I think I should introduce to you. And I'm definitely going to reach out to you. So thank you ever so much. And this is when we say bye-bye to our audience and whoever watches. And please be in touch with Kunda Kids. And on Saturday, the 19th, would that be the 19th? 18th of September at the African Centre. Yes, African Centre in London.
We'll be having a kind of coming out party.
Can you show us your T-shirt, please? Let's have a look at that T-shirt. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm the first few people to come and get free T-shirts.
Okay, can you save mine, please, just in case I'm late?
just some incentives for people that to come.
Yes, amazing, amazing. Well done and congratulations. Thank you for coming on to Author Aspirations. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.